All right, welcome back to the channel. Zach Barnes here, and today we are taking a look at the Yamaha P-143. Now, this is their entry-level keyboard in their P-Series lineup. I think there's like 3 more P-Series. It's kind of a weird name, so I don't have it remembered, but you can check that out on the Yamaha page. So for those of you who are new to the channel, whenever I do gear reviews, I'm very practical because I care about how is it used in the real world. So there are 3 distinctive categories that I look at. That is build quality, sound, as well as extra features. Now with the build quality, 2 sections, we have the chassis and we have the keybed. With sound, we have the sound engine as well as sound delivery. And then of course, the extra features are just all the nice goodies that are there. But the reality is I care about, this is a piano, which is a piano, which is a piano. So at the end of the day, it's gotta feel good and sound good. Pause. All right, here we go. So first things first, build quality. This is a plastic chassis, but it is sturdy. When you lift it up and you hold it, it's, I wouldn't say heavy, but it's got a good weight to it and it's got a good heft to it and it feels good. It feels premium. And when I say premium, I mean premium in the sense of like, it's a sub $500 keyboard. It feels great for the price, for sure. I don't hold it and feel like, oh, this is lacking, nor do I feel like it's sensitive, that it can't take a beating, or that kids can't play with it or it can't be transported, you know, in light situations and get messed up. So build quality is an A+, we passed there. Second, which is the most important part, I would argue, is the keybed. This right here is the Yamaha GHC, which stands for Graded Hammer Compact. So it is basically the same thing as the GHS, but just smaller to make it more compact, because this is a slimline keyboard meant for beginners and, you know, serious beginners in transportation, portability. With that being said, it feels nice. I can feel that the lever is closer, if that makes sense. The leverage feels a little bit more stiff, but it's a great feeling keyboard. I have no complaints with it. And to be honest, I actually like this better than the Roland FP10 that I reviewed recently. So I will do a comparison video just to see what the differences are between those 2 keyboards, but just off of feel alone, I prefer this. I'm not surprised though, because Yamaha makes acoustic pianos in real life, so they have the hammer action thing pretty nicely. Now I will say Roland's keybed feels good. It's just, there's a weird mechanical feeling to it that I feel, that I don't feel here. This feels very, I don't know, it just feels good. But I mean, you know, again, since the beginning of time, Yamaha has been making pianos, acoustic pianos, so they know what they're doing with that. So when it comes to build quality, as far as the chassis and the keybed, this gets a pass. I don't get super technical and scientific with it. At the end of the day, it either feels good and works or it doesn't. Moving on. So now we're going to talk about the sound. This is based on the Yamaha GF3S, okay? It is the predecessor to the CFX. I'm sorry, Yamaha CF3S, which is the predecessor to the premier Yamaha CFX Grand, okay? Great sounding sound engine, actually. They have up to 10 different sounds in here. So you got the grand piano, the E piano, electric piano, pipe, organ, harpsichord, vibraphone, and strings, which is nice. And actually, let's just see what that sounds like. I love me some strings. Let's see, what about the E piano? So it sounds great. I think this piano, in terms of sound It is meant for beginner piano players, entry level. And I'm actually impressed with the grand piano sound. So this is actually pretty inspiring to play. I don't know which one I would give the edge to over this, the Roland. I'll have to do a shootout to see which one I prefer. I will say this, spoiler alert, it's not one's better than the other. It's honestly preference. I mean, we're talking one style versus another, but they both sound great. But I feel like this one has a brightness and a cut that I prefer, especially when it comes to like playing in a mix. I just feel like this would push further and get me on top more, but I don't know. I'll have to do a shootout and maybe I'll play along with it with the track to see how it sounds. But sound quality, we get a check on that, pass. It fits the bill, it's inspiring to play. And I think this one's got 64 voices of polyphony, and that just means that you can play up to 64 notes before they start clipping out. So that's plenty. You won't have any issues there. Let's see here. Is there anything else to go over with sound? This is pretty straightforward. It sounds great. Now, let's talk about sound delivery. So, if you watch my review on the FP10, I had a bone to pick with Roland because they had a 1/8, quarter-eighth jack for the headphones, and there was no 1/4 inch out. Now, I do have a jack for that does the conversion, but I feel like if it's yes, this isn't professional, but in 2024, every piano needs to have a 1/4 inch out. That's just my opinion, sue me. So, with that being said, this piano has that. It's a headphone out, but it's 1/4 inch already. So I was able to just take this straight into my interface, no conversions or separate cables needed, which is very convenient, which also makes this gig friendly. So 1/4 inch, they're just rugged, they're built to last. There's no issues going in and out of the port. You know, the eighth, they break. So, especially when you're talking about gigging. So this piano, in my opinion, it makes it instantly giggable, and I recommend it more of a gigging keyboard than Roland simply for that factor. When you're plugging things in and out and you're at a gig and people are stepping over, so like stuff happens. So you wanna have hardware that works well. And obviously the piano works fine, but the connections are fragile. 1/4 inches are fragile enough. We don't need the ace out there, you know, getting gigged with. But anyways, personal preference, you do whatever you wanna do. Moving on. So back to sound delivery. We have the 1/4 inch out for headphones, which also can double for the interface, which is great because if you want to record, you can get straight into it. Get your little Scarlett, what is that? The Scarlett, get the Focusrite Scarlett interface, and you're good to go. Secondly, we got these 70-watt speakers back here. So I think it's 70 watts per speaker, and they get pretty loud, which I really like. And they have a sound boost mode, which makes it even louder. So you can access that via the function button on the Keybed, but they sound great. They're crystal clear. They have a good punch to them and no complaints. So if you're looking for something that you can practice without having to have speakers hooked up to it, this fits the bill hands down. So with sound out the way, let's talk about those extra features. Extra features. Now this has a metronome built into it, as well as I think they call it the pianist app, which is pretty cool. So Roland has an app too. They both allow you to connect to the keyboard and control the features through your app. But I think what's different with the Yamaha is that they also give you access to 303 classical scores to practice with, which is pretty beast, including Hanon. So you can get your Hanon exercises going as well. So kudos to Yamaha for that extra feature. I don't think Roland didn't mention anything on their website about coming with, you know, sheet music, but with the Yamaha it does. So you do get that extra tidbit. So, but I think Roland has Bluetooth and this doesn't. Your mileage may vary. And I think that's it for extra features. Again, these are entry-level digital pianos meant to just be straight for piano players and to be practicing piano. The fact that it has an extra 10 voices, and the fact that it has a built-in metronome, and the fact that it even has 10 songs, it has 10 demo songs, as well as the sheet music, I think that's plenty for extras, and I think it's just time to get to work. Oh, I left something out. This comes with the pedal. So the Roland does not come with a pedal. This one comes with the pedal, albeit it's one of those little, you know, rinky-dink ones, but it works and it works well, and I did not have to unplug mine hooked up to here. So plus 5,000 points for convenience. So if you want a piano that is 100% ready to go out the box, this would be for that. But let me go ahead and say that for my final thoughts. Moving on. All right, so final thoughts. 10 out of 10, it's a great keyboard, passes, right? It's sub 500. I've seen this go on sale for as low as $399, and you get an amazing action keyboard, right? It's weighted, feels great in the fingertips. You get a really solid grand piano sound. Like, that's a really solid piano sound. when I first started playing, man. So this sounds great. It feels great. You got a couple of extra sounds from experimentation. You have the built-in metronome. You've got the built-in sound boost to make the speakers push even harder for live environments, for, you know, if you just need that extra push in speaker volume. You also have the app that gives you 303 pieces of classical music and exercises, which is phenomenal. And of course, it's a slimline keyboard, so it's compact and it's not heavy. Highly, highly portable, and it feels durable. So 10 out of 10, I highly recommend this keyboard for any serious beginner, for sure. Don't hesitate, don't think about it, don't over-research it. Click the link below, grab one if you're looking for one. This is definitely a no-brainer. Now, as I did with my other video, what are some other use cases? This is something that I would get for myself as well as a nice beater keyboard. I felt the same about the Roland. Just the fact that it's got a great weighted key bed. You can hook it up via MIDI to your laptop and then use any sound library you want. And now this becomes a professional grade keyboard. I do give the edge to this Yamaha because of the key bed. I feel like this key bed just has, it's got a familiarity to me. I don't know what it is, but again, Yamaha makes they make acoustic pianos in real life, so I'm not surprised that the key bed is better and they have the nuances there. Again, not saying Roland's is bad. This is a stylistic preference. But this just feels at home. So what can I say? And I feel like I would prefer to use this as a MIDI controller over the Roland one. So that's my opinion on that. So if you're a professional musician, you want a nice beater keyboard that you can take. I really love these built-in metronomes. It seems like it's a cheesy feature, but it's so underrated. Not having to use your app or online to just crank out the metronome and go. I highly recommend this for a professional looking for a backup, not a backup, like a beater keyboard, just to practice and shed ideas, use the MIDI controller, be able to take to and from, and not worry about it, you know, being your precious baby and getting messed up. So highly recommend that. And unlike the Roland, I recommend this for intermediates because it's got the 1/4 inch out. It's just a much more reliable connection, and I feel that it has a better piano sound for cutting through live. Personal preference. It's not a fact, personal preference. I think this would cut better live, and it just has that classic Yamaha brightness. So take that for what you will. At the end of the day, this is a phenomenal keyboard, great for beginners, all the way up to intermediate and professional players in certain use cases. It feels quality, key bed is great, build quality is great, comes with the stand, comes with the sustain pedal, has the 1/4 inch out, has the app with the sheet music. I just think that this one right here is a phenomenal overall value. Highly recommend it. You can't go wrong with this or the Roland. They're both great. It really comes down to preference. This one is just my preference. If there's any other keyboard you have questions about, comment below and I'll see you guys in the next video.